After so long. How have you been?
I've been good, dude. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been okay. Just
Where,
thank. I couldn't hear you.
where are you right now?
I'm in New York.
Oh, how's New York?
It's good. It's really good. COVID season has passed its seams in New York. People seem to have forgotten. So things have gone back. Yeah, but we're expecting a second wave now because the cases have there's news resurfacing about cases rising and stuff. But
It was like rising, right? At least in US, it was like up, but it's as bad as in India as well. India,
yeah,
it's going, it's like
going up bad.
yeah, like it's like right now it's kind of hitting. We thought
Yeah,
tabhi.
exactly. Exactly. I think that has been the biggest problem with the whole situation that everyone, I mean, maybe that helped control the situation a little bit, but like the now when everyone's supposed to stay at home and like deal with this, people are struggling. But when they didn't like really, okay, maybe they needed to, but like you know what I mean, right? Like it's just, uh,
But even here, I think it's like yeah, whatever. We, the people who are getting it are getting it. The people who are
yeah.
not, let's say that. That's great, dude. And thank you for thank you for coming because this is such a like we tried to like postpone it and I was like, oh shit, like the whole freaking day there was no electricity. I'm just like, please, like don't give up. Don't give up now. So just like probably 15-20 minutes back was like electricity is come. I was like,
Oh
yeah.
wow. So this was meant to happen then.
Yeah, it was meant to happen. For sure, for sure. So tell me what are you doing in New York?
So I am in New York. I'm doing my master's at School of Visual Arts, the MFA design program. And the program is basically about design as entrepreneurship. So it's about how you could set up your own design business, setting up a studio, or like coming up with the product and branding the product and making a business out of it. So I'm working on my thesis currently. And my thesis is me trying to set up a brand on sustainable textiles. Like, not just, I'm using the word sustainable textiles because it's going to be a surprise when it launches. But I'm trying to do something with upcycle and recycle clothing to, like create a whole lifestyle. So, yeah.
Textile. Like, have you been textile? This is, I'm just like, see, all your work, at least as far as I have seen, is all like illustrations and very visual, right? And how did the shift happen when you said like I'm doing something with textile? That's interesting. How did that shift happen?
So basically, I've always been interested in textiles and clothes and fashion, and I feel like my love for design and everything visual and prints, like a lot of my work is like prints, it comes from there. And this gave me like this was I felt like I wanted to do this for my fourth year thesis. I wanted to make clothes. I remember like trying for months, I want to make clothes, and I didn't do it eventually. And this time I was like, I'm going to do something with textiles because I feel in textile, like how prints work or like pattern visuals, everything work, it like brings together a whole room. Like if you're doing home decor or if you're doing clothes, garments, like it's bringing together your whole personality, which is for me equivalent to like branding. Like it's like branding your own personal image or your house. So I feel like that has always been my pull, and I feel I can apply my graphic design knowledge there and be able to pursue my passion.
So, are you merging these two fields of yours, graphic and textile? Or are you just concentrating more on the process and the material of the thing?
So, I wouldn't say I'm merging graphic design, But I would definitely say I'm merging what I learned in advertising, because I worked in advertising for 2 years before I came to New York. And it's about like coming up with this big idea, then marketing it and campaigning for it. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. And the product part of it, where like innovation in product or what would actually sell, understanding what people want, that's something I feel like I'm trying to add to this whole concept of a textile business, which is something really new to me. Honestly, I'm figuring it out as I go, but so far, just that.
Did you kind of know like how to go about it when you said like you want to do your own clothing and all of that? Were you aware of the process? Were you aware of, when you say sustainability, were you aware of those terms before as clearly as you are now?
Um, I don't know how I could like really respond to that, but like I have been trying to not buy fast fashion for like past 4 years. Like while I
Oh,
was still in Shrishti, like I decided I will not wear fast fashion, because that's when I was forced in. Like I honestly I feel ashamed to say this, but like I came to know about the um consequences of fast fashion really late in life. And but when I did know, I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy. But there are some things that you have to buy. Like you can't help it, like denim and stuff. Like I can't really do it. You need it. You need one pair of denims, right? Like in your wardrobe. So
yeah.
those, apart from those things, I started getting my clothes stitched from my tailor. So like I feel that was my process of like understanding how this works, because like I didn't know how to make anything. I would just like get a pattern or buy a piece of like clothing from Fab India or something and get my own cloth and go to my tailor and be like, Master Ji, just like copy paste, and he would be like, okay, but like in that whole interaction, and then obviously they do something wrong, there'll be one thing that will not fit right, and all of that. So like in that, all my conversations of getting these clothes made for myself, I feel like I got a hang of how things work, but obviously I'm still learning. Like I'm definitely still.
So are you making the fabric, or are you like sourcing it, or are you planning on taking, as you said, I think upcycling means you're taking it as in like from waste or like secondhand,
Mhm.
then you're going to convert that into a thing, right? Do you plan on pursuing this in future?
I really do. I really, really do. Like, I hope I can really take this off. So I'm collaborating with a very close friend, and we're both like trying to. We're actually still like, this is. I just started this project 4 months ago, so this is like very research phase, where we're seeing like what our possibilities are, what my raw materials could possibly be. Like, do I need to make a piece of cloth? Do I need to source? Can I source it and cut paste and get something together? Like very, very research phase right now, to be very honest.
So how many more months you have?
I
It's
have time till May. So I graduate in May.
next year, May.
Yeah,
Oh,
next. So I have it.
you're just starting out. You're just
Um,
like, oh, okay, then that's
Yesterday was
really
my
great.
first class. So yesterday was my
Oh,
first presentation, like my first class. That's
oh, oh,
why.
oh, sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought you already did all these research, and it was like you're kind of like in the mid of your this thing process. Oh, that's gonna be very exciting. So,
I
is COVID kind of like an obstruction right now because
It
of?
really is. It really is. COVID has helped me also, honestly, gave me time to think and like really research and figure things out. But right, because it's like such a hands-on thing, like production stuff. Like my friend who's in India, like we're planning to work on this together. Like for them to get the sourcing and like get a tailor, and like even for like us, like we're literally sitting and we're thinking, okay, we can do this, we can do that, but who does this? Like, do we have to go around the country and look for like karigars who would actually do this, which we can't do right now? So it's like it's a bit of a stagnation point, but
Are you
should
planning
happen.
on? So she is working from India and you're working from US.
Yeah.
Oh,
He.
so how is the, okay, sorry, so how are you planning on, now when you say crafts, right, you just said craftsman. So I'm just thinking, see, in India at least, we have a lot of these karigars and these different kind of crafts and all of that, right, when it comes to fashion also. Uh, what's the scene over there? What's the fashion trend, or is there anything like this over there as well in US? Uh,
Honestly, in US, I feel like everything is very trend driven. Like, people will, like, I feel people are becoming conscious now that they are learning. But I feel in India, honestly, our lifestyle, since we've grown up and like in our culture, our lifestyle is way more sustainable than their lifestyle here. Like, until I didn't come to the US, the concept of throwing away cloth was very, very alien to me. Like, when someone said, I threw it away, like I threw my pair of jeans away, like, where did you throw it? Like, did it go to the trash? Like, what does throwing cloth mean? Because we don't put cloth in trash. Like, it's not an option at all. We
goes
do.
goes into like it goes into a lot of like stages, and then until you have holes in the clothes, it's not going to be gone.
Exactly. And even when there are holes in the piece of cloth, it's going to become pocha, right? It's not going to, like, it's going to be cut up, become pocha, and like I don't know what happens after the pocha. Like, I've never.
Completely used up when
Yeah,
the fabric is just like shrunk to this, and then it's like, okay, now you got to throw it, like.
exactly. But like here, I'm just like, what? Did you just say you threw away your clothes? Like, that just really hit me. And also the fact that, Mansi, I feel like this is like, it's a first world country. They talk about like there's prosperity and all of that. We come here for a better life, the American dream. And then I see, like, in winter, like New York winter, like homeless men on the streets with like wearing as many layers as they have, but like, and you're talking about throwing away clothes. Like, it like, it kind of busts a bubble for you somewhere, and you feel like, shit, why is this happening? We have so much cloth on this planet which is like degrading and dying, killing us also.
Interesting point. Because when you say like there are homeless people who are like, who that don't have sufficient clothes, and then there is also this side where there's these clothes that are just like being dumped. Do you think where do you think the gap is?
I think it's in our concept, in our behavior patterns to like our consumption patterns basically. And I see that consumption pattern coming to India also, to be honest. Like, earlier, I can, like, I think we can tell we're 90s kids. Like, we've seen like things change. Like, even in our childhood, like, buying certain things were a bit of a novelty, which are nothing close to being novel to any child right now. Like, things are changing, and I feel it's like in America, like, people, I feel, don't realize it's everything. You see everything to be so clean, like everything's clean. And where does cloth waste go? This goes into a landfill. In India, like in Bombay, when I travel to work, I have to see like cloth peeping out of those landfills because it's on my way. I'm forced to see it. Who sees it here? Unless you're going and visiting a landfill, right? So how do you gauge the waste? Like, if you know it's there in theory, you understand, and we don't understand big numbers. Like, the human brain, we can only relate to big, like 110 million. I don't know what 110 million is. I cannot visualize that, right? So, like, unless you don't see it yourself, you're not going to get to see 110 million. But even if you see this huge pile, you're like, okay, that's quite a bit. So I can imagine what the number like is trying to say. I think that's a very big factor.
You're hitting the points. You're hitting the nails right now. This is. I never thought about this until like it's come to me, because I was like, I mean, aren't people aware? Because I'll tell you why. Firstly, I thought, okay, secondhand clothing and thrift stores that you say are very famous over there, at least not in India. second-hand clothing, which concept, it's not there strongly, but probably over there it is, where I can just exchange clothes for maybe $10, $20. I don't know, but there are thrift stores, right? So what happens to that? Like, don't they like kind of like, there's certain process? Does it really get dumped? And if it does, like when you talk about landfills, are they better than us, or do they get processed, the clothes over there?
Honestly, I would say that in landfills, what happens is, like, I feel like in America and versus India, like the amount of waste could be comparable, but I feel like a lot of waste from first world countries end up in like countries like India, because this is not like the production doesn't happen in America always, right? Production happens in India, it gets exported. That's also waste. Production waste itself is so much waste. Like, forget people wearing a piece of clothing and throwing it away, right? So like we have such a huge population, there's obviously waste happening. On top of that, like, there is production waste of other countries plus production waste of like our like country's consumption. So I'm guessing, like, to answer that question, India definitely has more waste, but America definitely is way more wasteful than India is. No doubt.
Oh shit, snap, yeah. Yeah.
जैसे बाहर अमेरिका से, इटली से, फ्रांस से ऐसे आते हैं दूर दूर से। तो इसी का धागा बन के ही जाता है वापस। ये देखना चाहिए एक बार वो देश कैसा है। ये मतलब अंदर से चैन होती है भी इनको देखें, जैसे भी देखें कैसे अंग्रेज होते हैं, कैसे बोलते हैं। हाँ, मेरा नाम रेशमा है। हम तो किराए पे रहते हैं, अपना घर नहीं है यहाँ। वो पहले ड्राइवरी करते थे ना, उन्होंने जैसे गाड़ी चली जाती थी बॉम्बे, कलकत्ता, सब कुछ देख रखा उन्होंने। कहीं नहीं घूमे ना कहीं गए, बहुत शौक है।
पहली बार इधर वो ऐसा ही बोलता है कि कपड़े सारे किधर से आते हैं, क्यों आते हैं इतने कपड़े, ऐसा ही बोलता है। पहना भी नहीं होता ये कपड़े। इधर भी ऐसा ही बोलते हैं सब कि उधर पानी की कमी इसलिए इधर आता है, ये सब ऐसा ही बोलते हैं।
पानी जितने में ये लोग पानी खरीदते हैं ना, उतने में वो लोग कपड़े खरीद सकते हैं, इसलिए 2-4 बार ये कपड़े यूज करके फिर वो फेंक देते हैं। ऐसे सब बोल रहे हैं, वही हम सुन रहे हैं और किसी ने नहीं बताया है।
पता नहीं उसको कपड़े धोने अच्छे लगते हैं या नहीं, या क्या बातें हो तो पता नहीं।
लोग बोलते हैं ये स्वेटर जाता है, कट के हरियाणा पाली पर जाता है।
आज की रात पिया, आज की रात पिया दिल न तोड़ो मन की बात पिया मान लो आज की रात पिया दिल न तोड़ो मन की बात पिया मान लो आज की
कच्छी मोती भी लग रहे और ये नग भी स्टोन नहीं हो वो भी लग रहे।
बाहर देश में कोई पहनता होगा, कोई जैकेट होगा, कोई बेचारा
कोई तो पहन ही है,
पहनता है कोई।
तो पहनते हैं।
बहुत अजीब अजीब कपड़े आते हैं, देख के भी हंसी आ जाती है, भी ये कैसे डालते होंगे। इतने वो अजीब ही लगता है। कोई कोई पैंट तो ऐसी आ जाती है जैसे 4 बंदों की एक ही पैंट है, वो अजीब हो जाता है, देख के भी हंसी आती है। भी उस देश के इतने बंदे खाते हैं जो इतने मोटे मोटे हो रहे हैं। कपड़े तो बहुत खरीदते रहते हैं, जैसे इंग्लैंड, अमेरिका, जापान। अपने मन से जीती हैं, अपने मन से रहती हैं, खाना पहनना उनका अपने मन का, मतलब अपनी ज़िंदगी अपने साथ है उनके, कोई रोक टोक नहीं। हमारी तो ये सोच है भी बहुत महंगे कपड़े होंगे वहाँ पे, तो वहाँ पे भी अमीर लोग हैं, उनको पैसे की कमी रहती नहीं, तो इसी वजह से वो कपड़े बेच देते हैं। वो अपने मतलब पहनने के लिए तो बहुत महंगे पहनते होंगे, जब वो बेचते वैसे ही दे देते होंगे, क्या पता। रेक पे तो आधा पीस लिया, फिर टीचर पे माल जाता है।
आप दूसरों के लिए श्रृंगार करोगे, लेकिन फिर भी खूबसूरती तो उतनी ही रहेगी जो परमात्मा ने दे दी है ना। चीज तो वही रहेगी, नेचुरल चीज तो वही होती है आदमी की। हाँ जी।
कार्ड पे जाके फिर फ्रेम पे आता है, फिर वो गोले बनते हैं धागे में। जैसे कंबल बनते हैं, कपड़े बनते हैं, इसी धागे के ही बनते हैं वापस। बाहर देश में जाते हैं। ऐसा जी करता है भी हम भी बाहर देश में जाएं, जैसे दूसरों की तरह हम भी कपड़े डाल लें।
ये सब नसीबों के खेल होते हैं। शायद परमात्मा ने हमारे लिए इतना ही लिखा था कि दाल रोटी खाओ और प्रभु के गुण गाओ, बस। बस सपने लेते रहो, एक दिन चिता में सो जाओगे।
देखो अब किस में जाएंगे, मन तो करता है एरोप्लेन में जाएंगे। और इनका देश देखेंगे, कैसा देश है, कैसे कपड़े डालते हैं, कैसा खाना पीना इनका। ज्यादातर तो अमेरिका में जाने की इच्छा है। कभी किस्मत में है, बेटे अगर घुमाएंगे तो जरूर घूमेंगे।
I had a very interesting conversation with Natalie from Netherlands. So she was studying creative psychology around the human behaviors of buying. So she used to work with brands and she used to go to people's houses and see how they use products. and then she used to R&D for the companies, and the companies, at least during that time, this is before internet, only did concentrate on how to make more products or how to engage consumers to buy more of their products. Not to make it better aesthetic wise maybe, but not in terms of process or not in terms of over varieties of products. So then she saw this, she did this for 10 years, and then she got so exhausted and burnt out, and then she thought she could start a brand where she again made clothes from the recycled the waste clothes that were been thrown out. So then there was another step that she realized. She's like, why do we need these products? Do we need these many products? Because there's already a waste, correct? This is a very interesting concept that she said. There's already a waste, and we're just taking that waste and making more products out of it.
Okay.
Right? So do we really need more products? Of course, some of it does go and some of it does recycle. But I said this is a very interesting concept that she kind of it ticked for her. She said need not be for others, but during that time, she did face this thing.
It really is true. I think that's a great point, because I have been thinking the same. And when I started off with my research, I was like, I want to work with textiles, but I'm like, we don't need more clothes on this planet. Everyone's trying to make clothes. I love fashion, I love garments, but do I need to make more? Do I need to add to this visual and consumption saturation? How would I be adding to the planet, right? And I feel, but I was reading something recently, and there's this thing, IKEA is planning to go sustainable. They're trying to recycle their resources, and they said this one thing where if every company, and this was not about cloth, this was about plastic, but that made sense. If every company just suddenly stops using plastic, what will happen to the plastic that we have already generated? We won't be able to recycle that and use it, because everyone suddenly had a no plastic policy on their company. So that waste is still waste sitting there and not being used. So we might as well use what we have already created as waste and make something out of it and create a circle, so that we can, what we discussed about that pair of jeans, you use it so much that nothing remains. And I feel damage is still done, but we tried, right? That's how I see it.
That's very good. That's also very, very good. This is very interesting. So what do you suggest the brands should do, at least? Of course, considering the fashion industry being one of the most toxic to the planet, at least, what do you think the brands should really pick on if there was one thing that you could control? I was I had this, I was I should search it, and I just found it right here.
So sweet, I feel so bad.
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh my god, definitely.
I was going to search it, but I was okay, baad mein. Because I kept it here. I still have it. But yeah, so
I would say it's not that one thing that brands need to do. I would say it's one thing that we as consumers need to do. Really, it's on us. People are going to sell you things all the time, because that's how businesses run. Now that I'm trying to set up my own business, earlier I'd be oh, they should be more honorable about this, I'm more ethical about things. And it's like when it's like money invested and you need returns and like you have everything at stake, it's business, like, and that's real, like that's something I'm really struggling with also. But I feel like as a consumer, you can control your lifestyle. It's about conditioning ourselves about how much we need, and do I really need that? It's not that you have to use everything that you only need, but it's like when you ask yourself that every time, everything that you want also reduces. Like that's something I had to really work on, because I lived a very opposite lifestyle. And it took me a really long time, but for anything that I bought, like even with the clothes, even like not buying fast fashion, every piece of clothing that you do invest in becomes a little more expensive than it would have been otherwise. So that's when you start asking yourself, okay, do I buy like 3 really nice pieces of clothing which would last me a really long time and invest in it, or like buy something like which would not last me so long but would be like comparatively cheap and I can buy more. So like it's this consumption pattern that I feel like it's the consumer's part to play now, like because brands are trying, but at the end of the day I feel like what drives a brand is its audience. Like it will determine what its audience wants and does, will determine a brand's like path. So
I think like right now, of course, all the companies have become more customer centric, and of course the customers are driving the brands, is what you are trying to portray, right? Because it's more towards the consumers than towards the brands,
right.
But I guess like both does play a role. But yeah, if you stop buying from this particular brand, then they will have to change. They don't have any other option. But I guess it's a slow process, right?
It really is.
Looking at the situation after COVID, it was a big wake-up call. I say this on everything, like on everyone who I speak to, but it was. Because it impacted so heavily. But I guess I hope we don't go backwards, at least start thinking on how systems really work. But then again, like these big giants, right, who actually run the industry, they really need to be stopped, and it has to happen in big numbers, at least not from their side but this side. That's the consumers, right?
Yeah, exactly. If we don't support a giant, like don't buy their products. Like so there's this whole concept that I recently came across, like people like talking about cancel culture and like don't cancel out people, it's not nice and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that, but like see where you can use cancel culture to your benefit, bro. Like I mean, if Amazon shuts, millions of people would get unemployed maybe, but like I'm not talking about Amazon, but like if there's a company that really you feel is affecting your like the planet or your beliefs, and like stop using their products, and like make sure that you find a way that to explain to people why you're not using their products, and like maybe convince people to not use their product. Like exactly what you said.
But people really need to see. That's the thing. I say this again a lot of times, where if your house is not burning, then I don't think you're going to really act upon it, not as fast as you should. Because like, I mean, aesthetics comes first, because especially when it comes to fashion, and when it comes to again bigger brands, and avoiding them is always a struggle, right? Because for example, if I have to say, not in fashion industry but food industry, where you have to buy something to eat, and that is always going to come with a consequence, right? And packaging being one of the biggest culprit,
right,
is also one of the things that need to be worked upon. But I guess it all starts from the major metro cities. I say this why, because this is my personal observation. Okay, if you were in Mumbai or if you were in Delhi, you're not going to get farms. You're not going to get farms over there where you get fresh food. The people won't be able to go there and buy some fresh food. Whereas here in Hubli, I can do that. I'm surrounded by farmers. I don't have to go to More or Reliance to get some veggies or something. Neither there is Nature's Basket or something, all that fancy import export jo bhi hota hai, nahi hota. I don't get all that stuff here. So I rely on what is sourced locally and be more, I guess, subconsciously we are more conscious about what we eat over here because of the lifestyle. So that is also probably one of the things that I did observe over time.
Honestly, from what you were saying, I was talking to a friend about this recently, and she mentioned that she's like, dude, vegetables have become more expensive than like fast food, right? It's more expensive to eat like gobi ki sabzi than to eat a McDonald's burger, you know? So like, if you look at that cycle also, we have made being healthy in every way so expensive. We've made it a niche market. Like,
dude, I was just asking my mom, I was like, when you buy, when I say organic, what hits your mind? She's like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Why should I buy organic? What I get here is good enough for me. I don't think I need to buy from organic. And now this mentality is definitely applied to everything she buys. Okay? Because it's convenient. I'm not going to go the mile because of convenience.
Dude, honestly, I would say that this whole concept of organic now comes from this like America or like these first world countries, because I keep discussing with my housemates, we're all Asians, and we're all like, the vegetables don't have taste. Like, I can't taste the damn vegetable. Like, why? And like every peach, like when I order from Amazon, every peach is the same. Like, it looks like you could plate this up and it would look like a perfect photo shoot or something. How is that? Because it's all GMO. It's all GMO. And it's just like, fruits don't have taste. So when you buy organic, it's like you're buying from a farmer's market, or you're like, you know who your source is. So here people like, because if you want to eat healthier and pay, it's still expensive. It's way more expensive, I'm sure. But like it makes a difference when you're buying organic. In our country, what we eat is organic. Like, it comes from the farmer only. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's as organic as it gets. Like, we don't need to go to, like, it's like buying from the sabji wala is not organic, but going to Nature's Basket.
Please give me organic. If it's not organic,
exactly. You'll be like, what is wrong with you? But like going to Nature's Basket and buying it from a packaged, like, nice thing that says organic is organic. How ironic is that, dude? Like, that's not how this should work.
I think it's become a trend, and a lot of people are so unaware of what sustainability or organic as a term is, and where it actually originated and why did it even come forth. And this is so freaking true, and I think this I can link to marketing and brands actually, or at least nowadays, they're sustainable business, or we are selling only organic thing. But I don't understand this. When you say sustainable, I mean sustainable to the T. And when I say sustainable to the T, boss, don't use plastic in your packaging. Try to be at least, if it's recyclable, then it's okay. But again, when it comes to recyclable, I don't know where I need to recycle. I don't know where to recycle. I can recycle my wet waste. What about the plastic that I get from Amazon? What about the plastic that I get from whatever, the other things that I buy and the products? That is something that needs to be put inside the consumer's head, of course, but also the brands who are claiming themselves to be sustainable.
Of course, like, greenwashing is a new term I have learned in my research.
What is greenwashing?
Greenwashing is when I'm a brand A and my products are like so sustainable. Maybe like one thing somewhere, one small zip is like sustainable, made of some shit, okay? Like, but I'm like, I am sustainable. I have killed it. Like, I am the brand. Like, come to me. That's called greenwashing. Basically, giving into the trend of sustainability and calling your brand sustainable when it isn't really or 100% sustainable.
Okay, I have a question for you. If brands who are legit sustainable, what do you think they should do to put out their word? Like, how can they actually try, and of course transparency, but in terms of marketing their brand, when they're actually sustainable, how do you think they should position themselves?
Honestly, that is my task at hand to figure out. That's something I'm trying very hard to figure out right now for my own brand. And like you said, I feel like from what I've spoken to people so far, I think transparency is the key, because that will build a sense of loyalty towards the brand or the consumer. Apart from that, I do believe that selling your product as sustainable is not the smartest way to go about it. Like, see what else your product is too, because there's so many brands that are sustainable. And honestly, Mansi, I feel being able to afford something that is sustainable, or being someone who can adopt a sustainable lifestyle, is a very big privilege in today's world. Like, only the privileged have that privilege. Like, it's a very niche market even now, because things are expensive. Things are like, even like the taste with which it's made, because something that is sustainable cannot be mass produced, hence it cannot be cheap. Like, it's just a simple like logic. I cannot make it cheap. I can go up to a certain point, but then like, it's like people will be like, oh, you made it in India, how much did you probably pay your karigar ko to itna nahi dena padta hai, to itna mehenga kyun? But what if I want to give my karigar enough money? Like, what about that? Like, it's like creating this whole ecosystem where everyone benefits from the cycle, not just one person,
Yeah.
Don't buy this jacket. Their words, not mine. On Black Friday 2011, Patagonia ran a full-page ad in the New York Times with a strong call to action. Don't buy their stuff. Through this unabashed anti-consumerist sentiment, the advertisement revealed a recent trend within the outdoor apparel industry of cultivating a more environmentally friendly and morally grounded image. A trend which Patagonia, an apparel company born in the mountains in the 1970s, seems to be spearheading. However, the environmentalist messages of Patagonia and its outdoor apparel kin reveal a paradox intrinsic to ecologically conscious corporations. More product sales means more growth for the company, but increasing sales also means an increase in physical waste and emissions from creating, packaging, and shipping products. Essentially, the outdoor industry's success means a decline in the very nature that its customers seek to experience and that companies claim to protect. I want to dig into this paradox with Patagonia as an example. By positioning itself as anti-consumerist and pro-environment, Patagonia managed to increase its revenue by 40% just 2 years after running that ad. So let's go back to Patagonia's Don't Buy This Jacket ad to understand exactly how the company crafts its eco-conscious message. The full-page ad is simple yet effective in delineating Patagonia's core principles, along with the bold "Don't buy this jacket" text that separates the ad from other pleas for consumption. The paragraphs below provide a real argument for forgoing the purchase of outdoor gear. Patagonia claims the R2 jacket's journey from its origin as 60% recycled polyester to their Reno warehouse generated nearly 20 pounds of carbon dioxide, 24 times the weight of its finished product. The ad then goes on to say that the jacket comes with an environmental cost higher than its price, as well as, don't buy what you don't need, think twice before you buy anything. More recently, Patagonia rolled out its Worn Wear campaign. Centered around embracing old, repaired clothes, Patagonia frames ripped-up jackets as apparel with stories. The campaign is multifaceted. A worn-wear biodiesel truck tours the country repairing Patagonia enthusiasts' clothes, while videos reveal funny and emotional stories about 25-year-old board shorts that have been sewn and resewn countless times. Patagonia boasts the largest apparel repair facility in North America, with 45 employees, and the company's CEO argues that repairing clothes is a radical environmental act. Throughout the marketing campaign and the company's culture as a whole, Patagonia seems to be committed to the durable and the long-lasting, encouraging its customers to forgo purchases and embrace the old. In its mission statement, ads, and worn-wear campaign, Patagonia firmly positions itself as anti-consumerist and pro-environment. However, as many customers have pointed out online, there's a certain hypocrisy buried in this style of branding. Its marketing campaigns certainly don't make the company an environmental savior. It still capitalizes on the worn-in aesthetic with $29 Wes Anderson-esque repair kits, and brings in $600 million in revenue annually. Patagonia brands itself as anti-consumerist with ads, yet as a for-profit company, its very existence is reliant on consumption. Despite this contradiction that belies the company, at its core, Patagonia still runs an environmentally progressive business, a model that other outdoor apparel companies can and should learn from, but also one that customers should understand. Anti-consumerist ads and pro-environment campaigns from for-profit companies can sometimes err on the side of greenwashing, so it's important that customers understand both the advantages and limitations of this kind of corporate activism. While Patagonia's efforts to use recycled materials in their clothing is admirable and necessary, it doesn't mean that you should go ahead and buy 10 R2 jackets you'll probably never use. How then do we navigate an industry where the very jacket we buy is harming the environments we want to use it for? There is no silver bullet solution. It involves both thoughtful choices on the company's side as well as the consumers. Patagonia has positioned itself in the right direction in terms of environmental ethics, donating 100% of its $10 million revenue from Black Friday in 2016 to grassroots charities, or by simply accepting and repairing decades-old gear. The onus also falls on us, the consumers. But right now, as people who still need shoes to climb rocks or packs to camp under the stars, we should keep in mind that clothes and gear have a life before and after we buy them. So buy slow, buy smart, or sometimes just don't buy at all. Hey, thanks for watching. Just real quick, if you go and click on the Patreon link over here or over here somewhere, you'll be brought to a page where you can donate or support my video making endeavors, and in return I'll send you a handwritten thank you note or cool stickers, or even put your name at the end of all my videos. That's about it. That's my announcement, but I will see you next week. Bye.
That's so true. Yeah. So is quite interesting. It just it's just making me think maybe we should find like a middle ground where maybe it's not too expensive, or if it is expensive, probably put on have that added value to the product you're selling also, right? It's not just like you have to, because see, to be very honest, even I have seen a lot of brands and a lot of take for fashion brands example, they're sustainable, but a top is like $6,000 or $10,000 a dress. It's a simple freaking dress, right? And do I want to spend $10,000 at my age? With my income, I don't think I can afford it.
That's I really feel that.
So I don't know if you're really helping out or not. That's where I really get confused. For example, even when I was making lights, because being automobile dealers, I saw a lot of waste coming out. So I was like, I got to do something, and this is just disastrous because I couldn't help but notice the gaps in the system. And I was like, maybe I should do something about it. I looked up so many companies, and one of the material that I started working was with glass. But I'm saying it's such a process to even make a product. Until and unless when I just started making it, it was a whole nother ballgame. It was me actually, and when you want to make it sustainable, you have to compromise a lot, dude. It's not just making of the material, but it's also developing it, and then you have to price it, and then when you price it, and then you have to market it. There is, of course, there are a lot of costs that are involved in this, but there is also so much of work that goes into just making a product. Exactly. That is something that was like, okay, it's not easy. It's not a freaking chunnu-munnu kaam nahi hai. There's a lot of work that goes into it, yeah. So that questioned me about my consumption of whether I buy a product and how I'm going to, because I had to think about when this product dies, I will have to take it back so that I can repair it, and then I can resell it, or I can melt, or I can get it processed some way or the other. So that was a challenge, and trust me, it took me a year to probably just make 4 products, 4 to 5 lights. Wow. Because this was a task. This is something I didn't want to use. I didn't want to buy anything pehle to. I just wanted to buy a bulb that is going to cost me whatever, and then I had wires that I already have in the office, and of course the parts that were available. The only other thing that I regret still using is epoxy. It kind of it just it looks like this. So this is the glass, the waste glass, and then I probably wanted to make prototypes. So what it is that I just made molds, but then I started using old plastic buckets. So then I started making molds out of that, but I couldn't make it if I didn't have epoxy. It won't hold. The glass just won't hold together. So I was like, I had to make a choice. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm reducing it, but then like if this breaks, how do I recycle it? Right. So it's still like an ongoing process.
It always will be, like, till you like get. I think it will always be. There is no until. You always will like do it and be like, shit, I had to do this. I had to like add this, and I would love to know what you think about like having a product which is completely sustainable. Since you just told me this whole experience of trying to make this lamp, like completely 100% like a brand being able to do that. What's your understanding of it?
Do you think the brands, like there are brands that are doing it?
No, like, do you think it's a viable idea for a brand? Like, if you were to start selling your lamps and make a brand of it?
I'm just thinking when you said this, firstly is, okay, if I was making this out of plastic pehle, and for me to change from plastic to something else is a task. And when I've spent millions of money or dollars on making this product and a brand over the years, it's going to be so freaking difficult for me to just change overnight.
Exactly.
This I put in context with the brands that I, that are existing right now. For example, take Coke, simple Coke cup.
Oh, yeah.
Right? First we used soda bottle, right? The glass ones that were. We still get this in India.
Yes.
Plastic is there, but I would still prefer having it from the glass because I know
they went back.
Come back. Right?
But then it's such a hygiene thing also. You don't know how clean that glass bottle is.
It is. I mean, come on, there's COVID. There's COVID also. But I'm saying, this also reminds me, early days, this is during my mother probably when she was young, we used to get milk in glass bottles.
That's right.
I mean, that's sweet, and that's something. Is there a way where we can get these old methods back into today's existence? Maybe, of course, tweaking a few processes. Is there a possible? And again, when you say that if there was a sustainable brand, dude, there's nothing better than a sustainable brand. But I'm saying sustainability shouldn't be an added factor. It really shouldn't. It's something. It again comes down to questioning how you're living, how you're consuming.
I agree.
Yeah, right? It's how you're consuming everything. Imagine the number of products you use in a day. It starts from your toothbrush, it starts from the bed, it starts from the bottle.
Exactly.
The number of products you use.
It's too many. It's honestly too many in a day. I've really given it a thought and like try to reduce the number of products that I do use and the waste that I do generate, because after I came to America, like when I moved here, you move to a new place, you order things, right? You need to set up a house, you need to set up like everything. The amount of like Amazon will send me this one small package, this one small item, but the box is so big and it has 2-3 other pieces of plastic and wrapping and cardboard, and it's unnecessary. Like here we have like Amazon sending us food. Like if I order milk, like one bottle of milk is just so much, okay? But the packet is so big, and I always like whenever my orders come, I'm like, did I really order so much food? Like I'm pretty sure I didn't order so much food. Like why have you given me like 10 big packets? But they all might have like 2 things. One thing, that's such a waste, Amazon. Like don't do this. Come on, like.
Talk about Amazon, I just read a post a few days back where India actually makes Amazon pay for their packaging. So I was like, heck yeah, but it's still doing the damage, bro, because the company is really big and the material that they're using might be very cheap for them to really spend the money. I guess it's a good way of probably making the brands pay for their own waste, but at the end, it's still impacting us in a bigger way than the company.
Honestly, it's about waste elimination. Like, don't generate the waste in the first place. Don't try to be like, oh, I generated waste. Oops, I can pay you fine. I have a lot of money. Dude, you're asking Bezos for money. Like, he has so much money. You think like we can't like bribe off people in India like just for that? Of course he can. Like, money is not going to drive him. Like, finding him is not going to drive him to change his practices. It has to be something else. It has to be something that we as consumers and like ask for and want. It's like you were talking about like setting up a brand and like what your consumers, it's basically what your consumers want. It's like if they want something, then the brand will give them that. If you don't want something, they won't give them that.
I don't know. So random, dude. I find it really creepy sometimes because I've heard stories of like Eco and like Siri just like being a little I don't know, kind of just stories about it, around it. Since we are all living all in this digital world, there are their own stories.
It is creepy. I feel it's even worse in America. Like,
really?
America today, man. Like, fuck, I'm sitting.
And like, bro, it's like US on it, dude. Like, first world versus second world, bro. We're way sustainable than you. But it's the facts, right?
It is the fact. Like, there are big pros of living in this country, but at the cost of what? What are you putting at stake here? Like, it's like I use more tissue paper than I did back home in India here because I'm forced to. You know, the life is such.
There's like 2 paper tissue rolls I know of. One is the toilet paper that we have, and the second is the kitchen roll. If necessary, only then Otherwise, it's the cloth that we use.
Exactly. Here, I feel like kitchen roll is something like, so we get these wipes, okay? They're reusable wipes. So we always try to use those, and then I have like so much cloth and like all of that. But honestly, Mansi, like sometimes I just feel like I'm trying so hard, but why is there so much kitchen roll consumption in my house? I I don't know. I'm really trying to figure out what is it that we're doing wrong. Like, what is making me use so much kitchen roll, like generating paper waste? And then when COVID started, sorry,
It's available.
it's available. It's easier available. It's cheaper than the other options. I'm a student here. Like, I just like
2 minutes. You don't have to like again wash your cloth, dry it up, all of that.
Exactly. I also feel that makes it like you said a really good point where it's like you live in India, you have people to do certain things for you, right? Like you have these like conveniences when you're living at home. You don't have to do every task of the day. Here, I have to do every task of the day. Like, I have to wash my dishes, cook my food, like, even laundry, you figure out, you give it to a laundromat or you do your laundry, but like, it's you doing and you're like feeding yourself, and you're working, doing everything. Like, one person has to do like the whole life cycle of a human being, which you have help for back home. So, it's easier, honestly, I would say it is easier to live a more sustainable life. Like, you can take out that extra 2 minutes of your time and be like, I will do this. Like, I will probably walk. Here, obviously, you have to walk in New York, but like anywhere else in America, walking is not so much of an option because it's like you have to drive. You need a car to go everywhere. But like in India, you can be like, okay, I have these extra 5 minutes. I'll walk it. I won't take a rickshaw. You know, even these small things, because you probably have these conveniences. Not everybody does. I understand that, but like most of us who are sitting and thinking about sustainability kind of do or have access to.
What are the other things that has changed apart from paper roll?
Sorry?
What other things have you, apart from paper roll, living in India and then going to New York? What are the other things that you wish to like stop? Because you weren't doing that back.
I had to buy a lot of fast fashion when I got here. Like, I was so upset, and also I was very lost because I had not bought from these brands in so long. I was like, oh my god, what is my size? What do I like? You know, I'm just feeling so lost because honestly, I'm an international student in New York. Like, I cannot afford sustainable brands in this country. It's just not an option for me. It's like I can. Sorry?
Is it expensive?
It is. It's very expensive. It's like $120, $150 for one sweater. Like one sweater. Okay. Like, I can't afford it, bro. Like, I'm a student. So it's like, what do I do now? Right? Like, I have to buy it from H&M or Zara or like Uniqlo, right? So it's something that really makes me sad, but that is why my thesis, like my idea came from, because I was like, I want people to have an option. Like, I want to make sustainability more accessible and affordable. Like, when I started off, I was like, we will make this affordable. We're gonna like and then when I started working on it and doing research, I realized it's really hard to make it affordable. Like, because I remember when you were just talking, you said like, how can we bring back these old practices about having like glass bottles, milk coming home in glass bottles and stuff? We need to think why they went obsolete in the first place. Why did milk stop coming in a glass bottle? Because it was.
And it was convenient. Now see, if I'm getting plastic and then I don't have to really again take the bottles, wash it, and then again, you know, put back the product in. This is easier. I don't have to think about anything. So during that time, at least before plastic actually started this was not a priority, because firstly, I think the speed of destruction was not calculated, at least during this. And then again, we were not thinking, 10 years or 20 years ahead, okay, what will happen? I guess it was really not seen as, a problem until population started, emerging, and then there was a lot of waste and heaps and heaps of started to build.
Right.
Do you think, like, when you were in school that waste is going to be such a problem? Yes, we were so unaware of it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I didn't really think about why I should buy the product and what really makes the product, because firstly, I was not educated about it, because it wasn't a priority, I thought, because I was not told about it. And my way of consumption was definitely influenced by people around me and the things I consumed.
That is true. That is very true, to be honest. Like, I find myself also being prey to that also. Like, I have to say, like, in my current living situation, we all try very hard to to not produce waste and like recycling. And one of my housemates, she's so particular. Like, so on the Amazon parcel that you get the plastic, if you don't take out the sticker, it doesn't get recycled. So she like sit down and she'll take out stickers, and I think that's commendable, like to take out time from your like busy day to do that for everything. It's commendable, but that's that extra step you have to take. Like you said, it is cheaper and more convenient to package milk in plastic than in a bottle, right? And that is why the whole concept of it went obsolete, because people want it cheaper and more convenient. Now, how, as a brand, how do I convince people that, bro, cheaper and convenient is a very short-term gain? Your long-term is fucked. Like, couldn't put it better. That's what it is. Like, if you don't realize this right now, you're going to be in trouble. We're all going to be in trouble, because it's like also something that you said, it's like unless your house isn't on fire, we don't realize, like, okay, if my house isn't burning. But I think all of our houses are burning right now. Like, the earth is literally burning, and if that isn't like your house burning, then I don't know what is. Right?
So I'll ask you this. What do you think about minimalism?
I have spoken to quite a few people about this. I was really drawn to it.
It was like a trend. I don't know if it was a trend, but I think it was.
It really was. My uncle really adopted it, and I think I don't know of anyone else who's done it as well as he did. Like, he really went all out and like really cut out on like things he uses, and I think he's following that even now, and that really inspired me too. I tried, not as well, but I did try, and I feel that it's minimalism for me. Like, I've read those people, they call themselves the minimalists, and they do these talks, these two men. So for me, I really relate that to Marie Kondo's concept of,
oh my god, yeah.
Why?
Have you done it? Have you done what she done? Yeah?
Yeah, I really tried. I watched that show and sat to redo my declutter my wardrobe.
I was like, you have to freaking do this. I saw the number of clothes I had. I'm just like, I'm not gonna buy for another 5 years. 5 years. Because I have enough for me to wear the clothes that I'm comfortable with. I don't need to buy any.
Exactly.
For the next 5 years, I'm sure, and that's my goal.
Exactly, and I think that's a great point of realization. No, like, she'd made us realize this one thing by just telling us to clean up. That's what I'm talking about creating a sustainable brand. Like, you're not telling people that be sustainable, you're telling them something else, but it forces them to be sustainable.
Buy it because it's sustainable.
Yes, yeah.
But like, why you are and what it is at the core is this, right? It's a lifestyle. I was just talking to Preeti, okay, and she told me about the space when you said plastic thing, right? recycling thing. So this is in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore, or maybe somewhere else. I'm not sure. So you know what they do? Like, since India sucks at segregation, okay,
Yeah.
waste is just like, along with pads, we have some lot of things also mixed up, right? What they do is these days. So Monday they're only going to collect plastic. Tuesday they're only going to collect paper.
That's so good.
How cool is that? I think
That
it's
is-
in Kerala.
That
Trivandrum.
is smart. I am so like, thank you for giving me that piece of information today.
Dude, I was blown away by just like how simple is this solution, because we are this kind of, again, culture differences.
Yes.
Really, why? When I'd gone to Japan, I know how particular those people are. They're very particular. In Korea, I think there was a recyclable plant that we visited. So what they used to do is, there was a very, very good example that they gave. So they recycle TV, electronics, and all of the other devices. Okay? And what they do is they recycle refrigerators, and they, if there is a single plastic that can be recycled, they just send it back to the company. Could be Sony or Samsung. So there was a TV that they used to repair, that they used to recycle. So it had 300 screws. Okay, so that much time to recycle one TV. Okay, so what they said is, they told their product, the company, the product designers, saying that, boss, this is the problem that we're facing. You have way too many screws in your product, and it's consuming a lot of our time. Could you reduce it? And they did to 180.
Wow.
So that is a very impressive solution. Also, for the existing product or the designers in the team right now, this would be a great opportunity to start at least minimizing the designs of the existing products, because of course the products are made, of course they are upgraded every year or every month depending on the brand. And can this also be applied?
Yeah. I think that's a very, very, very good point that you just made. Like, it's also that product could have been made with 180 screws, but the person who designed it before that didn't consider that if I can make it with 180 screws, why would I make it with 300? So the concept of sustainability was not something in consideration from the first place. And that's...
Yeah, imagine, dude, if you have these recyclable centers taken a little more seriously, maybe at least these examples would like put these designers to at least a little bit of like consideration ke nahi bhai abhi aisa karna hai. But I think now brands are also going sustainable, but I don't know how much and how transparent they are about it, because again, if I'm producing so much, only 20% of my products are getting recycled, then that's a failure.
That is true.
It's a failure.
I completely agree. I feel this is a very, it's a long battle ahead of all of us if we really want to. Like, I think it
lead the coming years. Our generation and the previous generation, at least our younger generation, I think if we two people are talking about this, I'm sure there are other people talking about it as well.
Honestly, that's what I used to think. But I actually went and interviewed people for my brand.
Optimistic about it, and it's like, yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, bro, like, don't want to like rain on your party, but like, I really like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I used to always sit and be like, I'm sure everyone feels this way, but you actually go and ask people like about consuming and like what you buy and what motivates your buying choices and would you be ready to shift. it's like all the stock goes out the window, and that's really sad to see sometimes. But again, I understand. I'm not like judging my audience, because I understand that they don't have those options. I am a part of that audience to someone else too. Like, I completely get it. It's just that I've been like, it's something I just don't know what the solution could be. Like, what's that one solid foolproof solution? Is there one
solution? Because I guess these small steps and these small changes that you would make does, in every drop makes an ocean. Even as I said, these small tweaks, if we do from our day-to-day life, or the products that we make, maybe find an alternative. Because I see this in quite a lot of... So since I was in this sustainable thing, I was researching a lot about the other companies that are, and most of them are found in Europe. They make, they take the plastic, and then some of the brands, maybe Gomi is one of them, they use plastic bags and make speakers, and they make hard drives out of recyclable plastic. And what happens is they can recycle it again if it's broken. They can melt it and recycle it. So I'm saying this is one of them. But there's also a company called The Good Company, where the company is going to help you. Suppose it's only a plastic company. So suppose you're in India and I'm in Europe. I'm going to give you all the machinery. You just have to source your waste from your local this thing, and everything else will be given to you.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
That's
one thing I learned today. Thank you.
So I was like, okay, so that is something that people can also. So I'm saying there are solutions to it. Yes, it's in small clusters, but I think there are solutions to this, the problems that we are. So I'm saying, like, there are so many ways and so many things that we can do. I guess over time it will probably speed up the process. But this is kind of like so exciting. I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy that these companies actually exist. Because jitne products hai, utne variety ke waste, the kind of you're going to have, right? The variety of products and the variety of waste, and then finding solutions. It's complex, yes. At least if we can cluster it in bigger groups, and then it's very interesting.
I personally believe waste is going to be the goal of the coming generation.
Dude, I say it is the goal, because there is nothing like waste. You say in Korea, it's nothing. There's nothing like waste.
Yeah,
it's
right?
all recyclable, man. Every goddamn thing is recycled. There is a zero waste village in Japan. If they can do it, I'm sure it's possible.
It is. See, it has always been possible. India did it for generations. Like we have lived like a very sustainable, like our culture is sustainable. We always, because we have nature worshipping culture, right? That's where it comes from. Like, where do these sustainable practices come from? It's like what has been your belief system, your religious beliefs around the area and stuff like that. And it's we have done it for generations, and then suddenly someone was like, and it was hard work. It's so that's the thing about sustainability. It's hard work. To live a sustainable lifestyle is extra effort. It does not happen like sitting on one corner of your house and be like, man, things are going to move on their own.
And that's not so convenient right now, right? Our life is so
exactly.
We don't believe in the physical work. We believe in this mental work more, because we are so driven to that information data. Okay, it's a whatever job, and then when you actually go and see it and realize the work that is put in, there's no other way to actually do this.
Exactly.
No freaking other way. But when you say like sustainable, that we have been sustainable, I'll give you a very quick example. Another example. I was talking to Kavisha and Patch Over Patch, where she also works with Recycle and Upcycle brand, and she makes kimonos. So, surprisingly, her market is international. It's not Indian. There is a more organic approach from the other, international brands than Indian. Because again, I guess they don't. Some of them don't really. Again, sustainable or organic clothing is something a little new than organic food. Organic food is kind of a little understandable. But coming to my point, she had visited Rajasthan. There's a craft over there where they use waste cloth pieces and they convert that into paper.
Right. Yes.
So you must be aware of it. So, and they said, and she made a very good point over there. She said they didn't consider it as waste. The villages, they don't consider anything as waste.
That's the way.
They don't say this is waste. It is used until the very end. Farmers, if you say, there are crops, right? But then crops has waste. But that waste also will be reused to do something else.
Right.
So there is such a gap, right? Urban and rural.
I completely agree with that, because see, that's the thing, right? Like our urban life, we're surrounded by these conveniences, we're surrounded by these concrete structures and plastic. Rural life is not so much that, at least in India yet. When you live in the midst of nature, you have more compassion for what you're living with and what is in your environment. If you're not interacting with these particular elements of the environment, you cannot be expected to feel as strongly for them as you would have otherwise. Something I really feel makes a difference.
The burning point is when you actually see the human consuming nature, and just this again gets down to waste. Dude, it's so frustrating. I mean, I see it every day. People just dumping waste on roads. I still see it. But yeah, I hope all of this changes, man. I mean, it's frustrating. It's so freaking frustrating, because imagine, like, I just a few months back at least, I saw an eagle or a hawk, I don't know, but there was a plastic stuck to its leg and just like swirling on the sky.
That is so sad.
It was a sad freaking moment. I see cows. See, we have cows on the roads, right? So I see cows in plastic.
They choke.
They choke their stomachs also with that.
Yeah.
They're actually having something.
It's so sad. I feel like it's like we all need to work towards not generating any kind of waste. Like seeing every piece, like even this like notebook, this is a resource. Like there's light, there's like electricity, there was water, there was human labor, there was money, like everything that went into making this one piece of notebook,
Give me just a second. I'm gonna find you a book, okay? Just a second. I'm sorry, like this.
No, please do.
No. Oh yeah, I got it. There it is. Have you read this book then? Cradle to Cradle?
I was recently told about this book.
Yeah.
Very recently.
Dude, you were told about this in Shrishti. I don't know. At least I was. I don't know.
Dude, I wish I was.
Dude, this is not paper.
This is not paper. What is it?
The whole book is made out of a recyclable plastic.
What? That is so cool. I was recently told about this book while researching, and I'm gonna get this book now. Like, that's so cool.
Waterproof.
That's amazing. Dude, if we started having waterproof books, we wouldn't need to recycle like paper, because like books would just last so much longer.
Exactly.
Like, you increase the longevity of the product.
So this again brings me to design process, design thinking, if applied. My school education is very different from Shishti education or our undergraduation. I don't think we saw things in depth or we understood things in depth. It was always about, I was like, I've never been so curious about a lot of things. Until I was asked or forced to think.
True.
And be curious about why it is what it is.
True. Very true. I think I've always felt passionately about waste generation, but it was definitely Shishti definitely had a big role to play in it because of the way the curriculum that we had, the way we were taught, and also the fact that we lived in a place like Yelahanga, which was in like I just felt like I was so far away from the city in the middle of a forest. But I have seen Shishti kids rally for this one tree that they wanted to chop off. People were so sad when they cut that tree off. I remember being so sad. Like, I remember like having tears in my eyes because that tree was a beautiful tree and they just chopped it off like one night, like overnight. But like these things, like if I had not lived in Yelahanga, if I didn't see that tree passing, like didn't walk by that tree every morning, afternoon, night, like if I step out of my house or practically, like would I have felt like that? Maybe not, like it's my interaction with that environment and the vibe, the whole the Shishti community itself. Like we're always like, yeah, now what are we going to next? Like try and save. So I think that was definitely something that instilled a stronger sense of passion towards this topic for me.
I was just when you were talking about the trees, dude, I kind of like, I feel bad because even in Hubli, there are trees that are over 100, 200 years old that were chopped off only because wiring dalna tha. For the wiring.
Shit.
200 years old trees. Shit. And I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, you survived the war, but you can't survive like technological advancement.
So devastating, but like, yeah, but again, like, I hope brands kind of overlap these things of like, there's a brand called 10 Trees. You buy one shirt, they plant 10 trees.
I have heard of that. I think it's a very noble cause.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Something like that could add in a little more value to every product that people make. And I guess support these brands, support these people who genuinely are trying to help. Very, very important to really support the cause.
I agree. This is I think like I kind of have made peace with the fact that I won't get to see the fruit of this battle that we have started.
We are just starting, I guess, or probably not in between.
No, we're definitely we're kickstarting this. We're the ones, like our generation starting this. There'll be like, it'll take like 2 more generations. I personally believe it will take a few generations to die before we get over these old practices, because it's just ingrained in our DNA. I see it as a very factual thing that it is ingrained in our DNA, and it is very hard to overcome certain practices and ways of life. No matter how hard you try, you can do it. It's not impossible. Of course you can do it, but to influence that change on a mass scale, like billions of people on this planet, I don't know. it'll take its own time, if we have that much time, if Earth will have us for so long.
I'm sure it has to. I'm sure it has, and I'm sure something or the other will come up. Again, as I said, small details and small things.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions about your project. It's starting up. I was like, no, let's not go there. Probably wait for that to come out. Super excited, but like that's great, man. Like, I thought I was expecting. I was expecting more to do with visuals and all of that. I was like, okay, I don't know, but I know it has really beautiful illustrations, and that's it. Like that's all. And then you just like dove into like textile and thing. I was like, oh, like that's very interesting. But like you made such solid points to it, Sukanya. I was like, there's always two coins, like two sides of a coin, right? There's always two sides of it. There always be two sides of a coin. I guess you just need to choose which one you want to be.
Yes. It is. I mean, you can't even choose. I feel you have to accept both sides of a coin at all points. I mean, that is something that design, like even advertising taught me, like working in advertising was something they taught us not to do in Shrishti. They were like, do anything, do not sell your soul. But like, and then I graduate and the first thing I do is find a place where you have to sell your soul, like that's the business. But it's like accepting to both sides of the coin and like being smart enough to deal like the side which has more pros.
But
find a way.
Are you glad that there has been, see, like all my ideas in Shrishti were so practical. I will tell you this straight up. Okay, and then I was like, then I was put into this business background. I was like, oh shit, that was never going to happen, right? Like I was like, what was I thinking, dude? But I'm just so glad that it kind of at least paved the way to thinking like that. Or see, I studied MBA for a year and I saw the people who were strictly from that background. Now I come from a very different perspective of like, design thinking and then getting into business where it's all numbers and like profit and nothing else. I saw there was such an imbalance there as well of what was not, because I never heard sustainability as a concept. It was all about taxes, it's all about accounts, it's all about innovative solutions, of course innovative solutions, but it never was sustainable, like sustainability, or maybe they didn't put it out there as strongly as they should have. It was actually, to be honest. So that's something I then started struggling with, as in I want to do this, but I need to sacrifice a lot in terms of business terms. In terms of business terms, I will have to do or give away a lot, and really be patient with the process, because I think this held more value than this.
I think that's a great point. That is a very good point that you brought up, because it is a struggle. It is because it all comes down to consumption patterns. Why would a business model not work? Because a consumer is not a certain way.
Yeah, the market is not going to be like, there's no market for it.
Exactly. If people don't want it, which sane businessman with an ounce of a brain would make it? But I feel like that's not like what I just said. I take that back actually, because sometimes you can make products and create a need for it and a want for it, which is something we see Apple doing, right? Exactly. Create a market. But it is also like you said, in Shrishti, we like just like think big, the world is your canvas and stuff like that.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Figure it out. But you know, Mansi, there is a way. I have realized today, after working in advertising, there is a way. You can figure it out. It's just you have to see where, like, how much, what is worth to you, like where you can pull yourself a little behind, where you can push yourself a little more, and find that sweet spot between like business and sustainability and design and innovation, and bring your product out there. But I really am grateful to Shrishti for teaching us this whole, like, I think we were taught to just think big and believe that we can do whatever we want. And that is an invaluable lesson to me as a designer. Just knowing.
Have you ever been rejected of any freaking idea? I have never. And Shrishti, I was like, yeah. I mean, it's never like, no, it's not gonna happen. But it's like, yeah. Why do you think that is? And if you think, figure it out.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I'm just like, this really is not going to work, is it?
I have been in that position way too many times. Oh my god.
And imagine the number of failures we have had in Shrishti. I was like, shitty projects, shitty this thing. And I'm just like, oh, like, what have I done in Shrishti, dude? Figure it out.
But that is such an important part. That is, I cannot stress enough.
I'm understanding right now.
Yeah.
Looking at the current, like right now, I mean, my dad before, I was just standing in the scrap yard, and I'm just like looking and searching the parts to really work with, and I was like, not wasting time. Aren't you supposed to do something better right now? You're supposed to like work on this certain task. And I was like, just give me one day, just give me Saturday, and I'm going to work only on the scrapyard. And everyone's wondering, what's she doing? Like in the junkyard. And then you like, oh, that's interesting. And everyone just like starts giving ideas. Oh, maybe we should do this. Oh, how about we do this? How about we like put some lights like that? And that was very interesting to me when people started to think outside their box or their regular routine of, replacing the same part again and again. Of course, there's creativity there as well, but not so widespread. And I guess through this, I hope that companies also do work with the creatives and not just, the people that are supposed to be there. Because again, as I said, there was an engineer who actually designed the Toyota model, the manufacturing of Toyota, a textile engineer. And he didn't have any idea about automobile manufacturing system at all whatsoever. So I'm saying it's so important to have this overlap.
Yes.
Because that's where innovations happen. That's where possibilities of or aha moment happens.
Yeah.
Shit, this could happen possible, and maybe I'm working towards that. Like in future, at least. Even the salvage also kind of turned out like that, because I was like, products. So I know because of COVID, kind of got stuck. So I'm just like, again questioning as to why I didn't even start in the first place. The core was the idea that really connected, right? And I was like, maybe I am not the only one. And I guess it would be amazing to find people who do have similar interests. Could not just be in this particular area, or it could not just be sustainable, but I'm saying the creative process that at least I was surrounded with in Shrishti, and the conversations I had with people, right, and the ideas that were spread, I think that was like very precious to me. Right. And if this could be, I don't know, it just clicked, I guess. And I was like, maybe if you can do this. And I just ran in, and people were so grateful, like you're one of them, who actually agreed, because I guess there was a bigger part to it, right? And like there's more depth to this. than just being what it is.
Honestly, I would like to say, like, I'm really impressed with what you're doing, to be honest. Like, really, I feel like from what you just said, you adapted to a situation, you had a different plan, and you were like, okay, this is all what happened right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this and make the most out of this, which I think is commendable. Like, I think that is the key to running any organization or any business or anything for that matter, just being able to adapt that way. And of course there is more to this, because like it's like when I'm talking to you, and like when if I'm having this conversation with you and you put this out there, my intention would always be like, I hope even if like one line that I said or like we discussed, any topic like affects someone enough to bring even the smallest change. Like smallest change meaning even if they go and buy a bamboo fucking toothbrush today, like instead of using a plastic toothbrush, that's a win, that's a victory. Because and you don't know how like who hears what and like, you know, brings about change. So it's like, I think it's really commendable that you're putting out this content out there for people to consume and like learn something from. Like even your stories, Mansi, like I every day, like there are a few people whose stories I like in my head, I'm like, I have to go see like what they've shared, and like every day I always learn from something that you share. Like I've always wanted to say this, but it's really true, and it's been a while that you've been at it. I remember when you started, like I texted you saying that, wow, I love what you've been sharing of late, and you told me that, hey, yeah, this is something I'm really like trying to do, and I've seen you do it consistently every day, and it's been more than a year. I think, right? It's been almost a year or a little more. So that's really great. You definitely are putting something out there. Like I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Thank you so much. These words are very they just light up, because again, like it just sometimes you just need this, because like, you know, because you're put up in a very different situation, and then you're just trying to make things work, right? And super grateful, dude. Even the people who have just like come and just talked about or talked their hearts out, and I think that's kind of a really good, like not good, I mean just feel blessed, you know. And I hope like I do more justice towards, you know, this what I'm creating. But thank you so much for your kind words. But I would also ask you to be very open to critiquing this platform, or if you have any ideas that you think could add more value to this platform, dude. Like I'm full like on like in it. Even if you think, dude, like, just stop. This is not working out. Then like let's start thinking to like, you know, maybe eliminate it or change it.
I definitely will. Now that you have asked me explicitly, I will.
It'll be great, because I think all these ideas that I'm getting are from the people I'm talking to, yeah, to be very honest. And I think they are adding this change to the platform. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of, that's very important to me.
I'm sure you're learning so much also, right? Like it's
I've not learned this much from books than I have learned from people. Of course, like my curiosity did drive me to places and learn different things. But of course, like having this, with every individual you meet has an incredible story. I don't believe that you need to be somewhere or have something to really portray that. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that. I've never believed that, at least from the very start. And I want to keep it that way, at least for in this platform, because this reminds me, I was talking to Achal, okay, I'm sorry, but she told me this, like even in brands, okay, Sukanya, if it's a new brand, you would see the reviews, you would see the establishment of this particular brand, and only then you're going to buy it. True. Like,
yes. Because investing in it.
more than that, we want to be a part of a community, right? We want to be a part of a bigger thing. And I guess that really drives the psychology, because it's not money, I guess. Buying things is also totally psychology. It's totally how you feel.
It's a feeling of belonging that it gives you when you invest in a brand or a product. It will finally drive you home, you know. And yeah, that's a great point. It's very important, and I feel like that's what you're doing, aren't you? And I think you're doing a very good job at it. Like, it honestly, like, going out there and talking to people and just having conversations I believe will always make me learn so much more than I would have, because it's like when you're talking to someone, you don't know what's coming your way. You don't know what they're going to say next and what's in their brains or whatever. But like when you're reading a book, you know this is what this book is about. Like, it will obviously surprise you to a point, but not to that extent, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
It's always, I remember in Shrishti, I'm also someone who works at the last moment, huh? Like my just like light bulb clicks only at the last moment.
No, the thing is, because it's just like what to do, and it's not good enough. It's not
Exactly.
good enough.
Exactly. I have so many times, like, I have struggled so much in Shrishti. Like my housemates just knew, like, if I had a deadline that there's going to be one big drama in the house, because I will be like, I don't know what to do. I don't have an idea, and they're like, you already have tried something and it looks okay. And I was like, no, this is not good enough. And you know, that word would really come up. And I remember once talking to my dad on the phone and being like really heartbroken and crying. And this was for our the class that we were in together, the fourth year, first semester, the biology and science thing. And I had to come up with an idea. And I'm like crying, just to come up with an idea the next day.
That too, right?
Yeah. So much. Oh my God. I'm sure, like, I just, like, it feels good to know that there were other people like me.
Was I only the one who was just like crying for a project, like, but it felt so, because the best part is we were putting out everything we had.
We loved being there.
It wasn't doing for the sake of doing it,
Yeah.
It was like you doing something because you're interested in it, and then you're putting your own thoughts. And I love the transition of ideas into coming alive.
Exactly.
That aspect was so freaking like engaging, and I think pushed me further to do it more.
Exactly. We put our hearts into it, like, you know, and that's what, like, made it so personal for us. And I remember that when I was crying one day, talking to my dad, I'm like, I'm not getting ideas, I don't know what to do. And my dad literally said, just go talk to people. He literally just said, he's like, go talk to your friends, chill with them, chill for an hour, go to the mess, eat food, come back home, think. Mansi, I was so surprised that my dad said that, but like, I have to say it was one of the best advice that I got, because it's so true. You go talk to like 10 people, like, you don't have to necessarily talk to them about your topic also. You just talk to them, something somewhere will inspire you. Because if you're looking for something, sometimes you don't find what you're looking for until like it just suddenly like comes to you as a surprise. And I feel that's the power of conversation. Like, just hitting up people and just talking, like, hey, what's up? You know, what's been happening? Tell me something new.
That's yeah, dude. Man, do you miss Shrishti?
I miss it so much. I miss it. I feel like those are the best 4 years of my life so far. And I'm living in New York. So yes, they were really, really, really nice years of my life. In every way, actually. Like, we really got to learn and become who I am today because of Shrishti. Definitely.
Do you ever see like 10th standard report? Something like, you know, do you ever like say that 10th standard, all these 10 years of education that I actually like went through were like booming days of my like life? It was so terrible, dude. It was so terrible. dude, I say this to everyone. I will say this to you as well. I'm not going to send my kids to school. not this 1st to 10th standard. Forget it, dude. 10 years, I think you should just go travel or do whatever the hell you want, or just not give a shit. Learn the language and know how to calculate plus and minus. That's all you need to do. I don't think you need to do anything else.
I love that philosophy. Though I personally really believe that even though I hated my school education, like I didn't hate my school education, I hated how they taught us and the school concept of marks and all of that. I hated it, like loathed it. But I still see value in it. I really do. And I only saw value in it after I went to Shishti and we didn't have exams and we didn't have to do.
I'm saying no. As a concept of educating has to be applied from a very young age to a child, because a child's imagination is wild, dude. Is wild than anyone. And I think if you start building more and more towards that, imagine what the things they can do. I mean, not in terms of status and all, but I'm just saying like the ideas that would evolve.
Like just creating things, which is
insane, dude. Like all the dropouts are freaking running Tesla and freaking. I don't think Harvard really like did, or any freaking university did.
It's
like,
about what you
really do. Like seriously, do what you love, man. I'll tell this to everyone if they are listening, but do what you love, dude. It's even if you think it's a no thing, it's like it's not going to happen, it's going to fail, just do it anyway. The things that will grow out of it.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Go the freaking seed and like take care of it. I guess that definitely you never know which fruit you're going to get.
Exactly. And honestly, there is something it's a twist to the same thing that I've learned very recently after I started working and after we graduated from undergrad. And it's that if when you do it, you do something and you probably didn't like it, you didn't enjoy it. And it like sometimes we always feel like when we do something, we will know now what we want to do next, like we know what we want to do next. Sometimes doing things will teach you what you don't want to do next, and that is also important.
Yeah,
like it's not always about knowing what you want to do. Sometimes you do one thing and you're like, I don't like it, and then like, I don't know what to do, I already tried it and I feel heartbroken that, oh my god, I tried this, I just graduated and I cannot do this job. Honestly, I haven't felt that, to be very honest. But later on and during those times is when I realized that, okay, if I'm doing this thing right now and I'm not enjoying it, I know that this is not something I would ever want to do again. And that is also clarity. It's which way, it's how you take it. It's like how you use what you have, what information you have, and what you make of it. Like it sounds very preachy, but
that's very important. But I'll add a point to this, okay? Taking my own personal experience, I'm an overthinker. Like I think a lot and think so much that you reject so many ideas in your head and you don't do it and you don't end up doing anything, and then you're just like, I've done so much and I gained nothing. But actually, practically speaking, you really didn't do it.
Yeah, you just thought about it.
Yeah, you just kept thinking about it and again and again. And like when I used to tell my dad about it, I'm going to do this, you just live in a bleeding world, dude. Like, I mean, of course in his language, but like you got to start doing it. You got to start.
Yes. Exactly.
And when I actually pushed myself, get uncomfortable, get on camera, I didn't want to do it, but I just forced myself to do it. Then I thought like, okay, good at this, I'm bad at that. I'm good at this, maybe I can do this. But this never happened because I struggled at least for 4 months in my head.
Right.
My head. So much so. I just thought I started blaming everything else around me. Saying that this never worked out because of this. But at the end it was me.
Right.
I didn't do shit, but kept freaking overthinking.
This is something Sagmeister, Stefan Sagmeister, who's one of our facilitators at SVA. He said to us, like, last semester we had a class with him, and he said, you just have to make something. Like, don't stop making. If it's typography, draw typography every day. Just make. Like, if you did, like, the moment you sit, think, and like, and one of my favorite teachers, Alan, like, he always says these things, like, stop having meetings with yourself. Like, stop sitting and thinking and being like, should I do this? Should I not do this? And like, and I have really tried to imbibe and like apply these two things in my life, and trust me, I have seen the change. I have seen the amount of time it takes me to even complete a task to the amount of time it takes me to make decisions. Because like, it's like, you know, for sometimes I always feel like, I will make this decision, what if it backfires? Like, then like I had this dilemma at work a lot, because like, it's work, right? I cannot just like be like, I'm gonna just push that out, and what if it doesn't work? Like, you know, there are other people also answerable here. So but then like, it's like, stop overthinking things and like, just get to it, do it, and you'll find a way. And it has worked for me so far. You fail, but you learn again. Like, you will always learn. So yeah,
That's so true, man. But yeah, there's no more to it. Like this, yeah, dude. This has been great.
yes, it was a great conversation.
It's amazing. I was like, there's so many things like we discussed, and like so many good points, dude. I was like, this kind of like questioned my this thing also, because I was like I had kind of made this conclusions about certain things, and you're just like, yeah, you know, but there's this also. So that shift also did come in, and just like, that was very interesting. So I was like, interesting. Dude, no. Yes, that was like that point. But dude, this is great, man. Yeah, pretty much it. This dude, like, first and foremost, tell me when your thing is coming out. Keep me updated. Would love to know if you ever get stuck on something. If you really need some help or anything, I would love to be available. Because again, like, it's always good to like have this support, because like, you know, like riding in the same boat, and you're like, maybe like the problems would be something that you might have faced or she might have faced, like, you know. So
yeah. Thank you,
dude. No, thank you. Like, but I'm saying like full support on your the same project. I hope you do amazing, which you will, because Sukanya, come on, like, I think we didn't ever have this conversation, right?
True.
But no, like, you know, people who work.
Thank you. Major validation. Good start to my day. And then if I don't work today, I'm gonna feel like,
Dude, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to do something, or you feel it.
No. I was joking. I completely believe in this, in idleness.
Nothing. It's of nothingness, right?
Yeah. Just not doing anything. I think that's my best time spent. Always. It's my most productive use of time. Not doing anything.
Okay. So one last thing. If there is any advice that you would want to give to anyone, what would that be? Advice, anything that you think you strongly believe in. Is it too open-ended?
No, I can actually. I will repeat what I said before. My advice would be, someone gave me this advice, and I'm just gonna pass it on. It's like, stop having meetings with yourself. Like, really, just just get up and start making. And when you start making, no matter what it is, like it doesn't matter, it could be like graphic design to like a product to just like an illustration or just clothes or like anything. You want to make an Instagram page, you want to sing on screen, whatever it is that you want to do, just like get up and start the first step of doing it. And until you don't do that, you won't know where you are. You can only keep thinking. I've learned this the hard way, and I really, really would want others to not have to learn this as hard as I did.
I couldn't agree more, to be very honest, and disagree. I just learned this after the struggle that I was like, yeah, that's great, dude. If you have any book that you could recommend or gift anyone.
This book that I always recommend and I always have gifted to so many of my friends. It's my favorite book. It's called The Gita by Rupa Pai. It's called The Gita for children actually, but it's the content of that book is not for children. Like I just read it and I think I love what that book has to say and the way it says it. And it's not definitive. It gives you an insight into what your purpose in life could be. Because I believe that to have a purpose is that will drive you the longest to do something and achieve what you want to do. Like money or fame is only motivation up to a point. It can only motivate you to a point. But to have purpose, and I feel like that book really, really like drives home that point. To find your own purpose and to really act on it. And I think it's a great read. It's a great read if you're feeling lost in life. I always recommend. I cannot stop recommending this book enough. It's my favorite.
I have to check it out. I will definitely put in the link and all the references that we did talk about for people to refer. And if there is anything else that you would want to add or just let me know and I could just put in so that people can refer to that. That would help them.
Definitely. If you need me to send you anything, you can tell me that also.
I'll do that. I'll definitely do that. Dude, again, thank you for like having this time and really like what's the time over there right now?
Now it's 11:30 in the morning. We started at 9:50, so it was like it's a good time.
This is the first thing you did in the morning.
Yeah, I woke up. No, I'm glad I woke up for this. Otherwise, I would still be sleeping. I would be in bed. I had my presentation only last night, so like it was like an all-nighter night. So I was like, it's a good fresh start to my day today. Like, that's awesome. Thank you for this. Really, thank you for this. I had a great conversation with you. I think. Good.
Same. Okay, awesome. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna ask you too many questions because I know it's gonna like the conversation never end. But if there is any ideas about anything that you would want to discuss or any collaborations, let me know. I'm very much open to experimenting. So yeah.
I will, and I would love to have this conversation sometime outside of like the camera and like just when discussing, because I think it was great. It was great having this conversation. I learned so much, like I would love to do this again.
Just give me a call. I've given you my number also.
Yeah.
I'm available. Whatever time, doesn't matter. It's all chill. We're all young. Late in the night. Yeah, do that. And if you think, last but not least, if you think there is any person or a story that you think you think should come on Notion, do let me know.
I will. Thank you.
I hope I haven't asked way too many.
No, you haven't. Honestly, I had a really fun time, Mansi. Like, I feel this was a morning very, very well spent. So, thank you for that.
Great. That's great. All right. That's pretty much it. And let's make a move.
Yes. Okay. Good night.
Sukanya. I can't stop thanking because this is so like wonderful. Sorry. You gotta say bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Take care and stay safe.
Yes, you too. You too.
India जिंदाबाद. कुछ नहीं हो.
Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you saying something?
No.
Okay. Bye.